Hey guys, welcome back. Tutorial time again. I'm still working on my Halo armor, unless you couldn't figure that out, I'm sure, by the video title itself. I'm talking about the forearm pieces today, which I have been working on for the last week on just this one forearm because I wanted to make sure that it looked as solid as it possibly could get it. Today we're going to be talking about going from a super complex build in which you've got all these little areas, those little recessed and divoted areas, those little valleys and peaks, which you can either fold and spend, a day and a half making that, or else you can build a simpler version. These are all been built from Pepakura files. I'd elected to do the simplest version of the forearm that I possibly could, which was only something like 7 or 8 pieces, if you're including the little locked areas on the forearm there, or on the front of the wrist there. It took me maybe like an hour and a half to put this together, as well, the other one as well. And instead of having to go and fold in all those little areas there, I elected to use acrylic. Just a sheet of acrylic. You can even get a sheet of plexiglass. Works pretty much the same way, which I use for my planar surfaces. I even used some Bondo to help build up some areas that I wanted to carve detail into, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Largely the reason why I decided to go with the low-res Pepakura build is because I accidentally forgot to resize these for my body. I know I talked about it in a previous video. Make sure if you're going to do your own suit that you size these pieces properly. Master Chief is 7 feet tall. You're not 7 feet tall. Chances are you're probably between 5'8" and 6'3". So this does not fit my arm. Not by a long shot. So I resized the low-res version of it. You can tell the difference there. This one is just massive. But I didn't have all the detail that this high-definition piece does have inside there. So what I did instead, like I said, I used the acrylic. I mapped out on the forearms, which initially, where I wanted those peaks and valleys to be, where I wanted those recessed areas, those jutting portions to be. You can see just like a Sharpie, just drew them on there. If you're a creative person, you're working on this, you're going to be able to figure it out real easy, even on the elbow there. Originally I had planned to take some plumber's epoxy putty, put it on the inside of the elbow here, and then just Dremel into there. But instead of doing that, I just built the pieces up with that acrylic, and then just cut them out before I even glued them on there. Cut out those little areas already. So it gave it a much more sleek look to it. And because I'm planning to do this in a halftone, I want to do like gunmetal gray and then cobalt blue. I've got a perfect little line there where I know where I can tape it right off, paint over top of it. Pull this off here. You can see what I'm talking about here. Like I said, I built this up with Bondo initially. You can tell from just the look of it here, the build only gave me that one little bit of detail on that upper part of the forearm there. But if you're looking at this one here, you can see so much more to it, which I mean is awesome. But instead of having to go back through here and fill in all these little caved-in areas after I got my my smooth cast on there, and having to worry about going inside here and dremeling all that out, gave it all a rough sanding first, put that Bondo on there, and then just use my router tool here to go back through and carve in these little detailed areas right inside here. And what's cool about Bondo is it'll sand flush with whatever you're working with. You can't even feel the difference going from Bondo to plastic here. I mean, it gets almost smooth as glass. You're going to work with like 80 grit sandpaper and then work your way down to like 100 grit there and then 150 grit, which is underneath my acrylic here. And it gives it a great smooth texture, and because of the peaks and valleys you'll have on that Bondo, it'll even give you a really cool battle-worn look, which I like. Kind of gives it the effect of bullets that have skipped off this, because you figure a Spartan suit is not, unless it's fresh off the line, it's not going to look like it hasn't seen a day in battle. It's going to look like this guy fell down a hill and then got hit by a truck. But here, see here the acrylic that I elected to use there, and instead of spending an extra 8 hours folding and gluing all these little pieces together, go for a simpler way and save yourself the time and just get yourself a $10 sheet of acrylic. Cut those out. I mean, you'll need a Dremel with some cutaway discs. And you can buy these in bulk packages. This is 36 pieces there. I think I bought it for just under $5. And I mean, they give you a lot because they will break inevitably. You know, you'll end up cutting into a section where it'll just warble and snap. But here's one of the pieces that I did cut out. Just held the acrylic above my piece here, like held it right above where I wanted to put it on there. Grabbed my Sharpie, just mapped out the size, mapped out where I was going to cut into it. Put that Dremel cuts real easy. Just so you know, if you're working with acrylic, this stuff gets heated up real fast just by how fast your Dremel is spinning, and it will flick off into your eyes, and you'll get little pieces of, if you can find any here on my table, you get little pieces of plastic that will just crumble off and fly at your eyeballs. It only takes you, you only make that mistake once before you realize that you got to get yourself a pair of safety glasses that cover to the bridge of your nose and then to your forehead. That stuff sucks to get in your eyes. Happened to me the other day. But yeah, I'll show you. You can even kind of look at the comparable detail here. There's the little lock pieces on the forearm here. You can see what I did here. Just those raised little areas, and it gives it so much more character and makes it look so much better. And I mean, it's tough when you look at it right now because we got 3 different colors here. We got clear, we got the plastic color underneath, and that Bondo. But once this thing is all painted, it is going to look just pristine. And I'll be able to actually see where my shadows are considerably better. Even these other recessed areas, all through inside there. I got those planar surfaces covered with this acrylic. And what's cool with acrylic is all you got to do is just scuff it up a little bit, scuff up the area that you want to attach it to, and you can just attach it with super glue. I mean, it goes on real easy, and it is not going anywhere. I mean, these pieces are there to stay. And then, of course, once you've got the paint on there already, it's going to pretty much seal everything in. Again, you might want to just run a little bit more super glue along the edge there. And I don't know if you're planning to Bondo your suit. I Bondoed mine just because I figure if I'm taking the time and putting in all this effort to actually build something as unique as this, I want it to look as good as I possibly can. So if you're going to spend the time over the next several months to fold all these different pieces of armor, go that extra mile and get yourself some Bondo. You can get a can like this for about $12, and it goes quite a bit, or excuse me, it goes quite a long way. I ended up going through 2 and like a third of another one. So if you're going to Bondo your entire suit, like I ended up doing, you can see this forearm here still has yet to be sanded down. That's what it looked like initially, and then this is what it can turn into. I would say if you're going to do the entire suit, get yourself the big economy-sized portion of Bondo, which will come inside a big pail. Considerably easier to work with that and just sanding and shaping than having to sit folding tiny little pieces of paper and then trying to glue it. I mean, I think it's easier just because I like being more hands-on with my approach to things. You may like to do it differently. But like I said in my previous videos, you don't have to do it the way I did it. This is just one of the many options. There's no right or wrong way to really do this because, I mean, making costumes here. I mean, people do it however they feel like doing it. But if you really want to get that kind of cool look to it, and you want to get those areas, those plain areas, looking really, really sharp or really, really, really pristine, throw some acrylic on there or throw some plexiglass on there. Just sand down along the seams so it all blends in together real well, and it gives it a really, really nice look. And I know I said I was hoping to get this painted about a week ago. Looking like it might be another week if I can just get this other forearm done here in a timely fashion. But till then, thanks for tuning in again today. Thanks for watching the video. Please drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like me doing these videos. I can keep throwing up more, helping you out if you're working on a suit of your own. But yeah, till then, this has been Angel Legend, signing off. Take care.